I'm speaking. No, 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 I'm speaking.
Got it.
Thank you.
Who would win in a fight, Charlie Kirk or 20 woke babies? Now, what if those woke babies grew up and went to college? Then who'd win? Probably still Charlie Kirk. But you add me to the mix, I think we can take him down. Let's see if we can.
Hello, everyone. I am Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, and I am surrounded by 20 woke college kids.
Hello, Charlie Kirk. I'm Confluence, founder of the Confluence YouTube channel. I'm surrounded by sycophants and yes men. So the name of the game is Surrounded. A prompt is given, we try to run to the chair. First one gets there, gets to fight Charlie Kirk. Then, if 11 people raise their flags, that person is out of there and a new person enters the arena.
My first prompt is, abortion is murder and should be illegal. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Can we get our terms right first?
Yeah.
Okay, abortion is the forcible ending of the viability of a being in utero, otherwise known as a fetus. Do we agree that's what abortion is?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, great. And then murder is the intentional taking of life, different than killing or sudden death. So murder would be the intent, with intent, taking another life. Do we agree with that?
Okay.
Okay, and then we agree that murder in general in society should be illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So yeah, no, I do want to preface that I'm a Catholic.
Okay.
So I think one really important thing that the Bible says is to not judge. And just going back to the topic,
We're not off to a good start, team. I'm a Catholic, and despite the church being incredibly pro-life since literally its founding, I'm going to focus on this one verse I've completely taken out of context.
I do believe it's murder, and that's just my personal belief, right? I don't believe in telling people what to do with their bodies. That's not up to me, and it's not up to us as well as Christians to judge.
Oh, she's one of those. Abortion for thee, but not for me. All right, raise the flags, get her out of here. We can beat Charlie Kirk without her.
You know, these people aren't...
Sorry, nice to meet you.
Okay, nice to meet you.
That was vicious. This girl really wants to talk about abortion, but that's great. Love the energy. You tire him out, I'll take him down.
At how many weeks do you think that a fetus is viable?
Well, viability and moral worth are two different things.
No, but I'm asking you, at how many weeks do you think a fetus is viable?
Well, at about 20 weeks, a baby can survive outside of utero.
So it's actually 24 to 26
Well, it's
weeks?
20. The youngest ever in a NICU unit actually happened in San Diego, not far from here, and survived at 20 weeks.
We're not going to beat Charlie Kirk by fact-checking him on abortion-related statistics. Charlie is booked up on babies. This was not the game plan, people. I just noticed that this girl has a mermaid crossed out on her shirt. I guess she really doesn't want to be confused with Ariel.
That's 93% of the abortions happened well before a fetus is technically viable as a form of life.
Let's go into viability.
If Charlie doesn't care about viability, this girl will make him care about viability, even though that has nothing to do with his prompt or reasoning or logic or moral belief system or...
Why is it that the 6-week baby is of less moral worth?
Well, first of all, it's not a baby, it's a fetus.
Well, what does fetus mean?
A fetus is in utero.
What does fetus mean in Latin?
What the
There we go, we got him. Charlie, why do you always do the etymological fallacy? If we discovered fetus in Latin actually meant clumpus of cellus, would we change our position? Do you know the etymology for walrus means whale horse? So I think I'm in for a treat when I go watch a horse race. I got my money on Dozer winning first place.
It means little human being.
Ooh, his smile is very creepy. Okay.
Smiling is creepy?
No, your smile specifically.
No, we had him right where we wanted him, and then you ruin it with a personal attack. It's not even a good one. At least have the decency to call him a tiny-faced man like that other girl did.
But how does that make me good or not? That just makes me worried about consequences. No, it makes me worried about consequences, you little faced man.
But in her defense, that smile is nightmare fuel. I'm gonna be real with you.
The fetus is not a species yet. It's technically classified as a parasite.
Why are you saying technically, but then immediately following it up with something that's just technically untrue? According to people on r/childfree, a fetus is metaphorically a parasite, but then again, I also call kids crotch goblins.
A parasite is defined as something that cannot survive outside of its host.
There's that pesky technically. Technically, a parasite is an organism that lives in or on an organism of another species, its host, and benefits by deriving nutrients at the other's expense. Damn it, why do words have to have meanings?
A baby, before it is viable, cannot survive outside of a woman's womb.
Got it. So let's extrapolate that.
It is not a living organism.
But even if that were true, she then goes on to say that because it's a parasite, it's not a living organism. Tell that to Cymothea exigua, the tongue-eating louse. Is he not living? Is he not an organism? Does he not have feelings and hopes and dreams? Truly the face only a mother could love. I honestly wonder if she's confusing parasites with viruses. A virus can't live outside its host and has to feed off of that host's energy and is therefore not a living organism. So I guess if she wanted to argue a baby is a virus, that at least makes slightly more sense for her argument, but a whole lot less sense than every other way.
Your baby can drink water from its mouth to its stomach.
But it cannot.
Your baby can eat
it hunt?
food.
Can it gather? Can it reason?
Does a chicken cry? Does a chicken commit suicide? Let's frame it.
But that's not what qualifies something as being a living
let's
organism. Being a living organism simply means, can you survive outside of a womb, outside of your host?
Got it. So I just want to make sure I'm clear. Why does that then equate to moral viability?
It equates to scientific viability.
Why? Under what standard?
Because it is not alive, and you are advocating for the rights of something that is not technically a life.
Got it.
Does she think viable means deserving of life? I feel like that's the only way this line of reasoning makes any sense.
So it's not her body, it's in her body. It's not her DNA, so it's not her choice. So it's a...
It actually is directly her DNA. It is 100%.
It's a clone.
50% of her DNA.
Half her DNA.
Okay, better, but aren't we all 50% of someone's DNA? Does that mean my parents can half kill me? Or that an identical twin can kill their sibling? Oh my god, what if we're all parasites and are therefore somehow also not living organisms and are consequently not viable for life?
So I would define murder as the unjustified termination of a human life.
Yes, you're making a point Charlie already made in his initial terms.
Murder is the intentional taking of life, different than killing or sudden death. So murder would be the intent taking another life.
He literally distinguished murder from killing, guys. We're not gonna beat up Charlie at this rate. Come on.
Your position is quite absurd, right? Because you're saying that it is murder to kill a human being, right, at any point in development, especially when it's in the mother's womb. My question to you would be, well, does this make women with IUDs murderers?
It especially might.
Because it is the case that in some scenarios, an IUD will allow for conception to occur, meaning there's a unique human life there, but it will prevent its implantation, intentionally killing it.
Well, no, preventing implantation is not necessarily the same thing as terminating a fertilized egg.
What? Charlie, excuse me, but what? How are you like the most pro-life person on the internet, but you think preventing implantation is not killing the human? Pro-lifers always point out the issue that there's no good point to place where life begins besides conception, and then you go and throw implantation in there? That's as arbitrary as saying heartbeat or viability or birth. Guys, we finally got Charlie Kirk going for the kill.
For example, if you take Plan B...
Look, kid, I'm just as confused as you are right now.
Again, it's not the same thing. Preventing the production of progesterone is not the same thing as terminating a being that has been fertilized. You do not know for a fact that the egg has been fertilized. You do not know that when you have an IUD.
So if I drink a bunch of alcohol when I have a good reason to think I'm pregnant, but I haven't confirmed I'm pregnant, that's totally cool, Charlie? Is it cool? Because I think I might be pregnant and I really want to get blasted from listening to this dog water argument you're making.
If they knew for certain, to be more clear, that I have a fertilized egg and I'm going to take a drug to prevent that fertilized egg from attaching to their uterine wall, then yes, that is an act of killing or murder.
Okay, let me get this straight, Charlie. A workaround then is if you think you might be pregnant, just make sure you don't take any pregnancy tests and then go and take mifepristone, and if you don't know, it's not murder, right?
People who should go to jail are the abortionists, who are the ones that have been putting the abortion pill, the ones that have been doing procedures, the ones that have been going into the third trimester and breaking babies' backs and inserting them with syringes while the babies are crying and suffocating, being born alive, and then being dead on the operating table. Okay. That is who should go to jail.
Oh, good strategy, Charlie. Just start talking about abortion in increasingly graphic detail and continuing to filibuster as the red flags raised for people who don't want to be disturbed anymore, and then you don't have to back up all of your insane implantation takes. This next girl has an interesting strategy of begging people not to raise their flags.
Guys, wait, let me just get this one point and then you can vote me out. Give me 1 second.
Insert
Guys, wait, hold on. Just give me one second.
Right, safer than an abortion procedure.
This strategy proves to be ineffective.
A lot of people who are pro-life, they say that they're pro-life, but I feel like they're really pro-birth because with firearms, the United States has some of the highest firearm deaths out of OECD nations, right?
Yeah, I'm sick of this argument, and I'm glad those flags are being raised. It's just the name that connotes your position on abortion. You're pro-life, but you eat meat. You're pro-life, but you support the death penalty. You're pro-life, but you just threatened to kill that Costco worker because he asked to check your bag on the way out. None of that is relevant, Frank. Instead of my fucking bag, I'm not a thief.
For reversal of Roe versus Wade, we saw abortions go down dramatically in Texas, Alabama, Mississippi. We saw thousands of babies that are now alive and well that are able to have amazing lives thanks to the reversal of Roe versus Wade.
I don't think a lot of that is true.
Which part is false exactly? We're not going to destroy Charlie Kirk with facts and logic if we use neither facts nor logic.
It is, but...
It's not true, because when you make abortion illegal, it doesn't actually decrease the amount of abortions that happen.
That's a nice talking point.
In the same amount? Come on! Penalizing drugs clearly lowers drug use. Making anything illegal makes it less likely. That happens with like literally everything. Canada made cannabis legal, and now there's like literally a cannabis store on every corner. Like unironically, the pot shop to Starbucks ratio has now exceeded 3-to-1. In fact, I just counted the number of cannabis stores, and there are around 120 in my city and only 35 Starbucks. So I thought I was making a bit of an exaggeration when I said the 3-to-1 ratio, but I was underestimating. Legality and prevalence are clearly correlated in virtually every example you could possibly name, and abortion is of course no exception, and the stats bear this out.
Okay, the best way to decrease abortions happening is proper sex education.
What is your evidence of that?
What is my evidence of that?
Because we have increased sex education in the last 30 years.
Our sex education is so bad in America.
Well, bad does not mean worse than it was. This girl needs to time travel back to a sex ed class in the 50s and then come back and tell us how bad our sex education is.
Tonight, the feeling between us kept getting stronger and stronger. On our way home, we stopped and parked.
Her argument is that sex ed leads to less abortions, and that is at least statistically not true. Of course, correlations and causation, caveat, etc., etc.
Let me ask just one more thing. You say that if we make abortion illegal, people will still do it. Should we then just make gang violence legal? Because...
Look at this absolute Wasian confusion on this girl's face. How is this a hard argument to grasp? Charlie's logic is abortion is morally wrong and therefore should be illegal. She says... people will still do it anyway, and Charlie rightly retorts that we don't make criminal actions legal just because some people will do them anyway. Where is the confusion here? Of my 20 liberal college-educated allies, I feel like only a small elect group of truly free thinkers are going to be of any use to me in this goal of utterly dismantling this tiny-faced powerhouse. His face may be tiny, but his arguments are as big as ever.
No, I'm saying if you actually wanted to decrease the amount of abortions that happen, you wouldn't be advocating for, to make abortion illegal. You'd be advocating for all of these other things.
Does that logic apply to stealing, looting, kidnapping, arson, and murder?
If you truly wanted heroin use to go down, you wouldn't be advocating to make heroin illegal. Charlie is getting the upper hand. We got to do something here.
Well, actually it does, because those are results of different societal issues that you should be educating yourself on rather than making it illegal on the front.
Should we make kidnapping, arson, burglary, murder legal because they're symptoms of something else?
We should be helping society heal from those things.
You got to answer the question. We want less of those things. Should we just make them legal and we'll get less looting?
This broad wants to flag this girl out of compassion. I think this girl single-handedly changed my opinion on euthanasia because I just want someone to put her out of her misery. God, somebody flag her. I'm dying of secondhand embarrassment. She can't answer if arson, murder, and kidnapping should be made legal. We can't win like this, people.
No, actually, I'm gonna let someone else
Thank you very much.
Oh, good. She flagged herself. Thank God.
Pedophiles, people who were married to children in the past and normalized in that society, should they go to prison?
Pedophiles.
Like, if you could go back in time, would you put those pedophiles in prison that married those children because it was normalized? They were deceived into thinking it's okay. Would you put them in prison?
You got to slow down.
Sorry.
Pedophiles should get the death penalty.
No, so you'd go back in the past, you give them the death penalty, even though they were deceived into thinking it was okay. But you said people who get abortions who are women shouldn't go to prison.
But it's not currently illegal.
This is actually a good argument, but Charlie won't follow his logic for some reason.
Hold on a second. When was it legal in America?
Well, child marriage was legal in America throughout the early 1900s and especially throughout most of society for thousands of years, especially in the Old Testament and in the Bible.
This guy's a quick thinker and a fast talker. Glad he's on our side. But this will be a habit we see again and again. This guy makes some good points and then his inner atheist comes out and drags the convo into religion for some reason and gets lost in the divine sauce.
So where is the Levitical law that allows you to marry a child?
Oh, yeah.
Can you name the verse?
Well, I can't name the verse, but the particular conditions that are listed in the Bible are that you have to be physical maturity and emotional maturity, which is extremely vague and throughout society has been seen to be met at puberty.
There is not a verse.
I think this guy's thinking of the Quran because it definitely does not say this anywhere in the entire Bible. We had Charlie on the ropes and the guy jumps into biblical knowledge, which is obviously Charlie's specialty. Charlie will obviously know more about it than he does. What a terrible strategy.
You see it from my perspective, that at 6 to 8 weeks, those brain waves will actually increase, not decrease, if allowed the process of development to continue.
Did you know those same EEG scans exist in brain dead people that you don't think are sentient?
No, but the difference with the brain dead people is that the likelihood of those brain waves actually increasing is very low at 6 to 8 weeks, when by 15 weeks they can hear the mom's voice.
It's impossible. It's irreversible sensation. That's what brain death is.
Hold on,
didn't know that.
But no,
it's not coma.
But you're doing a red herring. Go back to
it's not. What's a red herring?
A red herring is where you avoid the topic and you say something that is adjacent or symmetrical to what I'm saying, but not actually I'm saying.
You mean a reductio ad absurdum? That's not a red herring.
That is a red herring, and you saying it's not a red herring is itself another red herring. A reductio ad absurdum is an entirely different logical fallacy. It's a red herring because the distinction between coma and brain death is not relevant to the argument. Charlie's point remains the same. People don't come to sentience after brain death, but babies do come to sentience as they developed. Nothing is worse than people incorrectly identifying logical fallacies during debates. This guy put all of his intelligent points into speed, pun intended. He's like Destiny, but somehow with more amphetamines in his bloodstream.
Don't ever fucking roll your eyes at me like that. I swear to God. If I ever see you do that again, okay? Stop.
Wait,
the evidence. I'm gonna ban all of you.
I shall call him Methstony, and I'm not so sure Methstony is more help than hindrance. Anyway, we return to the PDF file convo.
From 1904, how many pedophiles are alive from 1904?
They're not alive, right? I meant like if you can go back in the past, hypothetically speaking, and you could put them in prison, would you put them in prison?
I would have killed them myself if I was alive.
Okay.
Charlie Kirk, the time-traveling pedo hunter. If that was a limited-run Netflix series, I'd binge-watch the shit out of that.
So then you don't apply it based upon what people are deceived to believe. You apply it based upon what you consider to be moral. So the women who had abortions, you think they should go to prison.
Yeah, we got you there, Charlie. This logic is not consistent at all. If you think abortion is murder, and you think the only reason women who get abortion shouldn't go to jail for it is because it's socially acceptable and are deceived, then why wouldn't you extend that grace to people in the past that thought child marriage was okay because it was socially acceptable and they were deceived? We got you on the ropes now, Charles.
How are you? Nice to see you.
So I just have one question. There's, like, in any case, you don't think there's any case where abortion should be legal?
There's a very, very rare couple cases.
Okay, so you do think that a couple cases it is legal?
Ooh, this girl has anger in her eyes.
So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped.
Jesus.
Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
Jesus.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Oh, okay, great. So that's insane.
Wouldn't it be a better story to say something evil happened and we do something good in the face of evil instead of saying we're going to do evil and then murder the being because we're going to pander to the evil? No. What makes the West great is that we do good after evil, not evil after evil.
Ooh, that's a good line. Gets me all fired up. I am so ready to go and convince 10-year-olds to not get abortions. Wait, I'm supposed to be against Charlie. Never mind. I'm ready to go and perform abortions on 10-year-olds. You heard me.
It's not about the being in the cells. It's not about. No. I'm speaking. No, 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 I'm speaking.
Want to say one more time?
No, I'm speaking.
Got it.
Thank you.
I told you she had fire in her eyes. This girl's insane.
If there is a 5-year-old child who is pregnant and the baby is 2 weeks in utero,
can't get pregnant.
Actually, they have given birth. There is one recorded case of a 5-year-old girl who gave birth.
Is that common?
Yes, it's common. 5-year-olds get sometimes.
I can't tell if she wants to kill Charlie, or fuck Charlie, get pregnant with his baby, then kill the fetus, and then kill Charlie.
I hope your daughter lives a very happy life and gets away from you.
Okay, so that is really nasty.
Oh, sorry. I just got caught up in a moment and started clapping for something absolutely horrendous. Whoopsie daisy. Look, I know we're all having fun destroying Charlie Kirk, but can we not throw away human decency in the process, just maybe? Okay, new topic.
My next claim is that college is a scam.
What do you think is the purpose of going to college?
The purpose of college should be a traditional liberal arts education, the pursuit of what is good, true, and beautiful. Okay. That's not what it is. It should be the betterment of yourself and your soul, nurturing your character and becoming a better citizen, understanding the deeper things in life. At the very least, though, it should be preparing one for the job market. Do you think college does those things?
I think it does, but I would add on to your point that I think not only is it for the betterment of yourself, but it's for the betterment of society. We need historians. We need certain majors that may not make as much money. I think those are for the betterment of society. Would you agree that there's some majors that may not make money, but are still essential to society.
It depends. Do you think that getting a degree in gender studies is good for society?
I would agree, yeah.
The Wation is very emotive, but I'm getting distracted. This is a bit silly. There are non-fiscal benefits to college. I know that Charlie thinks that college is a liberal hellscape, but there is obviously still benefits. This is something I've seen a lot of conservatives get super black-pilled on. I did a hyper-liberal undergrad degree in psychology, and yes, while there was a lot of bullshit, there was also a lot of value. First of all, not everything has been corrupted by the specter of liberalism. History classes still have historical facts in them. English classes still make you learn to express yourself in a clear, formulated, and concise way. Philosophy classes still teach philosophy, even if you disagree with the prof. And of course, there are classes where virtually no liberal bias sneaks in at all, like grammar, classics, etymology, and geography. Second of all, even in the areas that are clearly biased, like psychology and sociology, there obviously is still merit there if you're shrewd and can separate the wheat from the chaff. And third of all, in classes that are, in Charlie's opinion, utterly useless, like women's studies, there still is clear value in being exposed to opposing ideas and having to formulate arguments against those ideas. If you can't steelman a solid opposition to a belief you hold, you don't really have a good understanding of that belief in the first place. The best thing you can do to contest things like postmodernism or third-wave feminism is to study postmodernism and third-wave feminism.
Why would studying gender not be good for society?
Well, learning that men can give birth is not exactly a good use of time, is it?
Is that what they're teaching in college right now?
A lot of colleges, yeah.
What? Does Charlie Kirk think that all college is promoting that men can give birth? Charlie's lauding the benefits of a good high school education, but then for some reason can't see the benefit in getting educated post-high school? Charlie, you know that the same liberalism you fear is also in high schools, right? Oh boy, you're not going to be happy when you find out where high school teachers go for their education. I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with
knowledge.
What are you studying?
Psychology and criminal justice.
Okay. So, and it's being paid for by somebody else, which is fine. That's good. So psychology and criminal justice. Do you absolutely need to get a degree to be able to get into the you do?
Yes, Charlie, you do in fact need a psychology degree to be a psychologist. You can't just call yourself a psychologist and start seeing clients. Charlie, I think you need to go to college.
Yeah, I mean, like, I could, I guess, study it all on my own.
Oh, well, never mind. She seems to also think that being an autodidact psychologist is a thing. And she's in the frickin' program. Maybe college is a scam. Charlie, don't go to college. I take it back.
Let me start by saying, well, first of all, you said we're sending too many kids to college. Who's sending them? Who's forcing them?
Guidance counselors, parents, community.
Are they forcing them? Are they signing them up themselves?
Hold on. Forcing, I never said forcing, but you can have nudging. And you would agree it is an expectation if you grow up in an upper middle class home to go to college. You would agree with that. So there's a societal, cultural push.
I guess there might be a pressure, but no one's sending them. You're sending yourself.
Well, of course.
We're all over the age of 18, right?
Right.
When you're in college, so you're sending yourself.
Right.
But that's besides the point.
Let's
That's
be
a different
honest.
point.
I mean, that's a silly argument.
Yeah, that's a very silly argument. The US sent soldiers to Iraq and Afghanistan, and it doesn't really matter if you signed up for the military or not. If we're convincing people to join the military, then entering foreign conflicts, then sending those enlistees to fight in said foreign conflicts, that is very much sending them. This is a quibble over semantics, and we need more of those flags up pronto.
You have to make connections, and some people might think college is just 4 years of partying and drinking and making friends, whatever.
All right, college, you win. Shut up and take my money. In this case, an assortment of Canadian coins.
And 86% of people with a degree get paid more than people with just a high school diploma.
That's only if you count the ones at the top 10% of income earners. So not if you count humanities, not if you count people that study in the social sciences. If you count medicine or you count law, that's absolutely correct. However, the vast majority of kids that go to college are not studying medicine, law, engineering, business, finance. They're studying communications, social sciences, or humanities, which are on the lower income ladder.
All right, this girl came with evidence, but too bad she didn't come equipped with this empirically correct fact that I'm about to spit. Even discounting the fancy pants degrees, just having a liberal arts degree still makes you earn on average almost double what no college will net you.
Well, gender studies is actually, if you look on like the pre-law track, gender studies is a pre-law track. If you're going to be a lawyer, you have to study gender studies and other social cultural studies.
That proves my point that college is a scam. Why would a lawyer need to study gender studies? Shouldn't a lawyer know the law?
Okay, yeah, this girl is making Charlie's argument for him. If gender studies is an option for pre-track law, that's fine. But if it's mandatory, that's absolutely ridiculous. And it literally is just handing ammunition to conservatives. Guys, we're ceding ground on this one. The title of this video is me and 20 other liberal arts majors destroy Charlie Kirk, not the other way around.
Schools are like, it's public high school.
What was Brown versus the Board of Education?
That's for desegregating schools.
Okay, good.
Yeah, which Project 2025 wants to like defund the Department of Education.
Who wrote the Constitution?
founding fathers, 1778. I don't know.
It wasn't 1778.
I don't know.
Close, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know?
Why are we quizzing this girl on constitutional law? She says she's not going into law. What is Charlie trying to prove here? Now he's lost in the sauce. I think we're all lost in the sauce.
I don't want this to be a pop quiz or trivia. I didn't go to college, and I'm asking you very basic civic questions, and you're paying to go to college and you can't answer.
That's not fair at all. People can forget facts, even important facts, and this girl's particular knowledge of high school civics seems like the least relevant point Charlie could be making here. Methstony speeds in, slips his stuff on ice, trashing his opponents as he vies to dunk on Charlie, who he chalks up to be nothing more than a washed-out crank. Gack.
I have a question. Is church a scam?
No, because church is honoring the divine and the eternal and the good and the true and the beautiful. Is college?
Oh, so Charlie, you're saying there's non-financial benefits that can make something worthwhile? Sounds like an argument I've heard before.
But it deceives people because you give a promise of everlasting life, which you don't actually get because Christianity is contradictory, logically speaking.
Do you want to get into a theological debate, or are we going to talk about college? Because
yeah, it is very clear Methstony came here for a theological debate and will drag everything he possibly can back into religious territory. This is not the way.
What percentage of kids that go to college are being scammed?
I don't think anyone knows that. Because it's dependent upon an individual. I have no clue.
Shouldn't we try to find out?
Well, if you'd like to find some empirics on that, I'd love to see it.
I just did. So 41%.
That's not a source.
Well, the Department of Education is a source.
No, the Department of Education doesn't say 41% of people it was a scam for, or that they didn't use any of the information they learned in college.
You are using.
So are you saying none of them used any of the information?
Can I say 3 words without you interrupting me?
Do any of them use the information later on?
Can I say 5 words that interrupt you?
Okay, this guy won't shut the fuck up, but I think a middle ground here is that college shouldn't be pushed as the best option for most kids. 41% is a pretty high failure rate, and I think we can have the best of both worlds. Prepare kids better, both academically and in terms of their options and career paths, and get a lower dropout rate.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. A perfect creator, is it possible for them to not desire something imperfect?
Is a perfect creator, I'm sorry, what?
There's a perfect creator that desires everything that's just perfect. How can they desire something imperfect, flawed?
Well, because maybe they want to get to know themselves. Maybe they want to see their own creation. Maybe they love
their creation. They want to get to know them? He's all-knowing.
Can I finish talking here?
How are we not flagging this guy? This is the most off-topic point of the entire video. Obviously, Charlie's a Christian, so obviously he won't think church is a scam. So this guy's just trying to drag this into a theological and philosophical discussion, which for some reason, he thinks Charlie won't be prepared for. And I guess in his mind, his plan was to destroy Charlie's religiosity with Philosophy 101 level arguments.
The church is the bride of Christ, will save us from damnation that we deserve. College is far from the bride of America. It's currently scamming the youth of this country and sending them into oblivion.
Didn't answer the question.
I did.
No, you didn't say how they could desire something imperfect.
Well, God can do anything.
We'll talk about that later.
God can do anything, so.
Even something logically contradictory?
No, it's not logical.
Get off the stage.
Can an unstoppable object?
Oh, of course you're a snapper.
Yeah, my next claim is that trans women are not women. Let's define our terms. A woman is an adult female with XX chromosomes. You tell me, what is a woman?
I think a woman is somebody who identifies as a woman.
Got it. So that's not a definition. That's like saying a table is someone that identifies as a table.
Why sit down to challenge Charlie if you don't have a basic rejoinder to the typical what is a woman rigmarole? Have you not seen anything from any conservative in the past 5 years?
What is a woman?
That's the definition.
No, I know, but you have to tell me what.
A person who identifies themselves as a woman.
But there needs to be, you need to tell me what that thing is, though.
Somebody who.
They gotta flag this guy. This guy is single-handedly the reason why conservatives are finally starting to win the culture wars. Charlie, did you pay this man to be here? Be honest. This has got to be a stooge, right? I swear to God.
Women are so much more than that. They come in a variety of shapes, sizes, colors. And I don't necessarily think that you can count out somebody who's trans just because they don't have a certain set of chromosomes. There are also people who are born, I'm drawing a blank.
Okay. Intersex.
But that is admitting your definition is not complete, Charles, and there are at least some exceptions to the rule. Conservatives need to start listening to me and get on the large gamete bandwagon. A woman is an adult human female, and a female is of the sex that produces large gametes. I see you typing in those comments. You know who you are. No. No.
So you're either more male or more female, right? So you might have both a penis and a vagina, but there's never been a case of someone who can impregnate themselves.
The Parthenogenesis Wikipedia page just called. It wants to... Oh, never mind. It hung up. Oh, wait. No, it didn't. It's still on the line. Side note, this is the most overworked citation needed I think I've ever seen.
If somebody asked me who I was as a woman, I would not say I have a vagina.
Totally fair.
I would.
No, I think you said something smart. So you said that person is more of a woman than you are. Therefore, you're grading off a definition of something accomplishes womanhood.
Yeah, womanhood is the collection of performative social roles that stem from biological, cultural, historical, and evolutionary. Oh no, I can feel Charlie Kirk influencing my social beliefs with his charisma and soft demeanor. Womanhood equals vagina. Checkmate, atheists.
What makes a woman? Because you said she's more of a woman than you are. So I want to know what that definition is.
Right, okay. I'm gonna let somebody else go.
All good.
Damn it, I was giving you the answer. Say stuff about how gender is performative and shit so we can destroy Charlie Kirk with facts and logic.
Okay. All right, Parker, what is a woman?
Oh shit, that girl just paved the way for Methstony. It was a ruse. Quick, Charlie, better think of something smart to say.
A woman is an adult human person that has a desire to be in accordance with a particular set of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with the female sex. Now, define a man. Define a man.
You're looking at one, XY chromosomes in a
Okay, but does God the Father have XY chromosomes prior to incarnation?
We literally have a religious
topic He's a
later.
father and he's he, him, but he's not a man?
You were doing so well, Methstony, and then you immediately self-destructed. You're so lucky, Charlie. Imagine if you had just stopped at the good argument without immediately schizo talking about religion again. But this kid just can't help himself.
Christ is a man. I'm happy to get into the sexuality and
Before
gender
incarnation, he's not.
of the Trinity, okay?
Before incarnation, there's no penis, there's no XY chromosomes, there's no small gametes.
Why does nobody flag this guy? Is this just a case of fast talker, therefore smart? Or do all these college students just have a penchant for chaos and want to see the world burn? My brethren, Methstony is not our path to victory.
Do you think that anybody can become a woman?
I think that anyone who meets my criteria is a woman.
What's your criteria again?
Again, adult human person that has a desire to be in accordance with a particular set of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with the female sex.
Can society ever be wrong?
Sure, but like it's a desire to be in accordance with a set of social and cultural norms.
Can I become black if I wear blackface?
No, because it's not a desire that you have to be in accordance with a particular set of social and cultural norms.
Wants to be black?
Because race is defined phenotypically based upon the expression to other people.
Okay, we're back on track, but this guy goes and pisses all over his own arguments again by pointing out that there are biological qualities that objectively make someone a certain skin color or sex.
Well, I think morality is subjective, but you think it's subjective too because it comes from God.
That's interesting.
Wait, does it come from God or independent of God?
Well, no, of course it comes from God. It's transcendent.
That's subjective. That's subjective. Yes, it is. No. If it comes from God, it's specifically subjective. If it comes independent of God, then it's objective. No, what you just told me is also compatible with moral anti-realism.
So let's go back to the 10 Commandments.
You don't understand metaethics.
This guy doesn't understand metaethics. Why would morality coming from God make it subjective? God can be immutably all good and only do all good things. This guy's like the embodiment of Reddit-tier atheism. He read the first few paragraphs of the Euthyphro Dilemma Wikipedia page and thinks he's destroyed all religious thought. Well, guess what, bucko? I've read almost all of that Wikipedia page, and you're just a little silly Billy. This schmuck is turning me to Charlie's side.
Well, do you want to talk about sex first, or do you want to talk about gender?
Well, I don't think gender exists. I think it's a term that John Money and Judith Butler created over the last 40 years that basically is a filler for personality.
I'm just not sure I see the reason for this gender doesn't exist idea. Even if we strictly think that you cannot change if you're a man or a woman, it still seems helpful to recognize that there are aspects of our gender that we perform that vary over culture and time. Wearing a skirt obviously isn't a thing that has to be tied to our sex, but in Western society it usually is. So what is the reason why when we see Harry Styles in a dress, we think of him as feminine? Because he's doing something that is outside of his gender. If gender is completely synonymous with sex and dresses aren't inherently for females, then what were conservatives complaining about when they talk about cross-dressing? So I just think this isn't a bullet conservatives need to bite. I'd say that gender is how a culture chooses to enact the sexual differences between men and women. And that's consistent with conservative thought without having to act like gender and sex are completely synonymous.
These are social
womanhood
categories.
Can be appropriated.
No, they're categories. That's what it is.
So there's nothing inherent about the chromosomes. There's nothing that...
Correct, yes.
Well, now they both lost me. Charlie thinks that gender doesn't exist, and this guy doesn't think that gender seems to have a basis in sex at all. Great, I get to be everyone's favorite enlightened centrist once more. Let the hate comments flow like the blood of my enemies. Now we move on to trans women in sports, which I can't imagine me and my fellow comrades are going to handle well.
Cis men and cis women have different hormone levels. If you want to change the hormones, we can change the categorization.
It's not just current levels of hormones that predict sports outcomes, obviously. If you just vacuum out some of Conor McGregor's testosterone and put it into a fragile woman, she doesn't all of a sudden become Olivia the Rock Drigo and win the fight. Sandra Bullock will be stronger than she was before, but she hasn't become the equivalent of a biological man. Natalie Portman can become Natalie Portman, but, well, you get the point.
If you are looking at typical testosterone estrogen rates of women, they are far different than those of men. But for example, like your testosterone rate goes down when you have children. for example, when you're a man. That doesn't make you less of a man. They go down by about 400 points.
Oh, great. Now, not only can I not afford to have a kid from a financial perspective, I also can't afford to have a kid from a hormonal perspective. Thanks, Obama.
My next claim is that Kamala Harris is a DEI candidate. Can I define what a DEI candidate is?
I think that you're going to say because she's black and she's a woman, she was appointed because Joe Biden promised that, and it's not a testament to her success.
Not only that, but also in her getting the nomination of the Democrat Party, they said repeatedly, we do not want to pass over a black female.
Why are we giving Charlie all the good arguments? Whose side are you on, Mason? I mean, I feel like this guy already lost this one before he even sat down because that's all that Charlie means with his statement, so I guess they both agree.
Because beforehand, he said, I'm going to choose a black female for vice president. He didn't say, I'm going to choose the most gifted or the most talented or the most accomplished. He said, I'm going to choose a black female. And so by definition, that is DEI.
That is not the definition of DEI.
That is the definition of DEI. We are losing the war against Charlie Kirk here.
I think she got elevated because she was a black female. Because
if that were the case, I'd be the president right now.
To quote a wise, strong black woman,
that is not the definition of DEI.
DEI doesn't mean the only criterion is being a black woman. It means Kamala Harris was largely given a leg up over potentially better qualified candidates because of her race and gender, which I think I have to give this one to Charlie because, I mean, Joe Biden literally said it. My comrades, we can simply not win this one.
Why is it that San Francisco has a declining population and Miami, Tampa, Orlando have an increasing population?
What does this have to do with DEI?
Oh God, she's forgetting what the convo is even about. I'll just let Charlie destroy her so we can get Methstony back in here.
Because she ran San Francisco poorly and she was chosen as a VP because she was a black woman.
She didn't run San Francisco poorly.
She was the DA of San Francisco.
So she's prosecuted.
And then she became the AG of California where crime went up. Homelessness went up, arson went up, kidnapping went up,
She's not the
murder
police. Isn't that the job of the police to get the criminals and for her?
The attorney general of the state is the top cop of the state.
Yeah.
Look, I got nothing. Charlie's running circles around us. We need to regroup.
And what did she do to lower crime in California?
She convicted those who were guilty.
Like truant children and cannabis users. Oh shoot, I'm supposed to be against Charlie.
Okay, so real quick, you're saying that the only reason she was elected is because she's black?
No, that's not what DEI means. Same confusion as the black chick that if DEI were true, she'd be president. DEI means that race or another protected category is being given weight in the hiring process. No one is saying the only reason Kamala Harris was chosen is because she was black and that she could be interchanged with Whoopi Goldberg at any time.
Joe Biden said, I'm going to preset criteria based on black women, and therefore she met that criteria, and that's why she was selected.
No, why? I think what he was trying to say is, she's just black. She was just calling her black. She's not saying I'm doing. He made a public promise. Saying I'm doing this because she's black.
I think we're all just collectively memory holding where Joe Biden said that. But to be honest, I think Joe Biden himself is memory hold that.
So you're saying her being district attorney doesn't matter. That's not why.
No,
but yet
she
Trump
did an awful
being
job.
a failed businessman.
Failed businessman? Only in America can you start with millions, turn it into billions, plus many thriving businesses, and not be considered successful. Among the many things we can criticize Trump for, why pick something he's actually been successful at?
Okay, in the Democratic primaries, Kamala Harris was performing incredibly well. And she wasn't performing well in the primaries just because she was black. She was performing well in the primaries because during her time as a senator, she spoke incredibly eloquently.
This really is the collective gaslighting of America. Did we all just forget that Kamala performed terribly in the primaries and took potshots at Biden? This whole prompt has been a disaster for us, you guys.
Let me ask you this, because it's on you. What's her greatest accomplishment as vice president?
As vice president, being the first female all-black president. We've never had that.
No.
First of all, half black. Second of all, her best accomplishment is her race and gender? What are we even saying?
You're baiting us into rage so that you can make money on your TikTok account. You're baiting college students all over the world into arguing with you over these fallacies. You throw a red herring out there, and you're making money from this account while we're sitting here and looking stupid.
Don't say we. If you're looking stupid, that's on you. Now we move into the place where Charlie will pick one person to have a 10-minute conversation with. Oh, pick me. Pick me, Charlie, over here. Hey, Charlie, pick me.
You want to debate? No, let's do it. That's fun. You sure? Okay.
Oh, of course he picks the black girl. What happened to being against DEI, Charlie? Hypocrite.
So let's just talk about the history for a second. Slavery begins in the early 1800s.
Earlier.
No.
Slavery?
1816 is the beginning of slavery.
1619.
Oh, yeah, I guess it would be. Okay.
That would be a very brief history of slavery. I mean, that's basically just bringing people from other countries and then freeing them into the continental U.S. I think that's called immigration. That's why Republicans wanted to end slavery. They wanted to build a freaking wall along the Atlantic coast and make Africa pay for it.
Black Americans are poorer today in 2024 than they were in the 1950s.
Yes, why do you think that is?
Good question. So we have the Civil Rights Act, we have more benefits, more government programs. Something changed between the 1950s and 2024. So there's two answers to this question. Either America got more racist, or there's another explanation. The disappearance of the black father has been the #1 driver of black poverty in this country.
Okay, so you are blaming the fact that black people have not been able to achieve economic equality and advancement in this country.
They've had decrease.
Specifically and solely because of the absence of black
Not solely.
parents.
It is the most primary ingredient reason.
I mean, if it's not, then we need to figure out something else that changed from the 50s to the modern day that made black people disproportionately less well off. I'm not really sure how to rebut Charlie on this one, and it's not something I really want to get into.
So you think it's the absence of black fathers?
Correct.
And you think, what else?
Public sector teacher unions that have kept these schools crummy and kids aren't reading and teachers keep getting paid and we don't fire bad teachers. That's a big thing.
Okay.
War on police in our inner cities and not having enough police and not actually locking up criminals.
Oh shit, Obama was right. Mitt Romney did want to put black people back in chains.
We need more police, more detectives to solve those murders. But I want to hear your points too. I'm talking too much.
So
this smirk, this guy's like, nah, you're never going to find where I hid that body. And I'm not saying that because he's black. I'm saying that because he's smirking.
Now, starting in the 1980s and continuing onward, there's been a war on drugs. Is this correct?
I like the war on drugs.
You like the war on drugs. So yes. During the war on drugs, it created an epidemic of mass incarceration, specifically
but, hold on, only if you're using drugs.
No.
Or peddling drugs. If you don't use drugs, then you don't go to jail.
Now, this is just true. You don't get drafted into the war on drugs. Nobody is conscripted to be Captain Cocaine or Admiral Amphetamine. The war on drugs is open to all recruits.
So you believe that the criminal justice system is flawless?
No, I've never said flawless. There's a lot of people in jail that shouldn't be in jail. There's a lot of problems in any system.
Okay, so wait, let's pause on that.
Oh, Charlie, you think it's fine to arrest people for drug charges? Oh, so you think the criminal justice system is flawless then?
I have a question. Can I get a Google? What percentage of people currently incarcerated are black?
Wait, what? Wasn't the question how many people are falsely imprisoned, and then she asks for a Google of what % of people incarcerated are black? Does she think every black person in jail is there by mistake? Surely some are, but then we need numbers on, like, wrongly incarcerated people. I think our victory against Charlie is slipping through our fingers on the past few prompts, I'm not gonna lie.
Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
This entire room is aghast at basic FBI statistics, although it probably doesn't help that Charlie keeps saying blacks. I feel like there's gotta be a better way to say this than that blacks commit more crimes than whites.
Social and economic inequality. You become desperate and are forced to do things that maybe don't align with your values.
That works for things like drug use and some types of theft, but not for things like grape and murder. I'm gonna go on a limb to say that nobody is graping to feed their family, and with the possible exception of Milwaukee, no one is murdering anyone to feed anyone either.
If you were right, when blacks—
Stop saying blacks!
In America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that?
So I'm sorry, are you trying to say that blacks thrive under subjugation?
No, I'm not.
In Charlie's defense, I mean, even if he were saying that, isn't that a good trait? I feel like it's pretty widely accepted that the Jews thrived under subjugation. Doesn't that show tenacity and resilience?
The data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed.
More shock at statistics, even though this stat was shared like 5 minutes ago. I guess she just finished processing it now? Wait until she processes the time Charlie said blacks commit more crimes than whites. Her jaw is gonna unhinge like a snake.
I'm just trying to understand, why is it the more social welfare we've done, so we've spent $20 trillion on uplifting black communities, $20 trillion, and black Americans are poor. We've done everything that's been asked.
You haven't done everything that's been asked, though.
Great society,
because what is being asked?
Subsidized housing, Medicaid, public schooling, subsidized college. We're talking about $20 trillion that has been spent on the Great Society, and yet black America is poorer, more murderous, more dangerous. So there's an explanation. I'm asking you to explain.
But we are not asking.
Yeah, either those things didn't help, or the scarier thought, they did help. Just imagine what downtown Chicago would be like if we didn't introduce food stamps and Medicare for all. But I mean, $20 trillion, if you divide that by the number of black people in America, that's like more than $500,000 per black person. We might as well just pay people $500,000 to not commit any crimes. It would be saving money and lowering crime in black communities.
For handouts, we are asking for equity.
Hold on,
and
what
part
is
of
that?
equity,
what does equity mean?
is
you mean taking from other people?
Excuse me, it means sharing.
I think I'm gonna go to my local Walmart and share in some of their electronic devices. Sharing is caring after all. Well, glad that's over. Do you guys think we got him? Let's do a retrospective here.
Republicans tend to just focus on like preventing you from arguing your point.
Like do a lot of gish galloping and like kind of filibustering.
Look, Charlie's a talented guy. There's a reason why he spoke at the RNC.
Well, I think we did okay. We got him on a few points, and you know, for the rest, there's always next time.
It was a very smart group, very opinionated. There were a couple other people, I kind of felt bad for them. They had a lot of strong opinions, but they just weren't ready for prime time.
Oh, fuck you, Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry I'm not media trained enough for you. Suck my dick.